Good evening, Mr. Mandrake.
Good evening, steward.
How'd you make out?
Swell. I opened the vent in Mandrake's stateroom. We'll be able to hear anything he and Mr. Webster have to say.
Oh, that's great.
Hello, Webster. Come in.
Getting ready for the show after dinner, Mandrake?
Yes. Lothar, where's my dress shirt?
Here it is, sir.
Telegram. What's the matter? Bad news?
Read that. It's from Professor Houston's daughter.
Houston, the Radium Authority?
Yes. Houston has been perfecting a machine to create radium energy. You know how vital radium is for medical use? This machine, when completed, will do all radium does and more. Just as effective and lots easier to handle.
How nearly finished is it?
Only Professor Houston knows. Because of that, I'm worried about this message. Before I met you in Shanghai, I had been in Tibet.
Yes, I remember you said something in Shanghai about being on a mission. That what took you to Tibet?
Yes. Ever hear of platinite?
Why, of course. Platinite's the hardest substance known.
An old lama in Tibet told me a formula for mixing platinite with steel to make a supermetal. Professor Houston needs it to make his machine.
Platinite's as rare as radium. Where can you find it?
Actually, that's only part of it. I've looked all over the world for it. Now I've discovered that it can be found in only one spot in the United States.
Yeah, but where?
Will you let that remain a secret for the time being?
Whatever you say. But I still can't understand why Houston would be endangered.
Because his radium machine, while it can be a great boon to humanity, could also be a very destructive force in the hands of racketeers or crooks. Let's forget about that. Now I have to get ready for the show.
All right, take your time, Mandrake. I'll be waiting for you in the salon.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Our voyage from the Orient ends tomorrow evening. Captain and the crew hope you've all had an enjoyable cruise. Climax the festivities, I introduce our distinguished fellow passenger, Mandrake the Magician.
Thank you. As we're going to be a bit informal this evening, I'm going to begin by asking someone in the audience to suggest a bit of magic. Then how about you, Percy?
Well, I guess we'd all like to know how to get rich quick.
Very simple. I'll begin by taking a little contribution from you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I will pass among you, and I want you to give till it hurts. Just another reason why gentlemen prefer blondes. Ah, thank you for your generosity, Captain. Ah, the air is full of mystery. Most young ladies carry it in their stocking. No offense. It isn't hail. Lothar. The King's ransom, ladies and gentlemen. My next trick will be one that I brought from the hidden land of Tibet, land of mystery. I have here a candle. I'm going to light. Be careful not to burn the candle at both ends. Now, here's a tube. Any of you care to inspect it? There's nothing in it. You're quite satisfied there's nothing in it? All right. Proceed to put the tube over the candle very carefully so as not to put out the flame. Ah, what have we here? My favorite flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be very careful to keep one eye on the candle, one eye on the flower. Watch carefully. 1, 2, 3. Shall we see if the candle is still lighted? Light. But what of the candle? Candle. Thank you. Now I will show you a trick that anyone can do at his breakfast table. It's all very simple. As you can see, there is nothing in the teacup. I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that these are ordinary teacups that I got from the dining room steward. These little balls are the handiest things I could find around here. There is no connection between the balls and the teacup. They never saw each other before. I wonder what the steward will do with these teacups when I return them to him. That is, if I return them to him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you will watch very closely, I am positive that you will agree with me that the hand is quicker than the eye. As I said before, the hand is faster than the eye. I take the ball from under the teacup and put it in my pocket. And look under the teacup again. But the ball is still there. Then I take this one and put it in my pocket. But it is still here. You know, these little balls have a funny habit. I keep putting them in my pocket, but they won't stay there, because we always find them under the teacup. Well, I hope you are enjoying this, ladies and gentlemen, because I could go on doing this all day. And I know that if you'll watch very closely, you'll see what happens to the little balls. It's funny where they come from, and I hope funnier to see them go. Thank you. My next trick will be this. I will allow myself to be bound hand and foot, and then locked in this cabinet. Purser, will you examine me that I cannot release myself? Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after my assistant has locked me in the cabinet, I want you to keep your eyes very carefully on the cabinet. Quiet, everybody. There's no cause for alarm. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my performance for the evening. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
But, Master, who?
Smile, Lothar, smile. Make believe it's part of the act.
Hey, what's going on? That wasn't an act, that was a real bullet.
I know.
Aren't you going to the captain, have the ship searched, find out who...
Oh, no, that wouldn't do at all. That'd be the kind of publicity that Professor Houston doesn't want.
Professor Houston?
Yes. There's a connection between his machine and this attack on me.
But why?
There are a lot of whys that I can't answer at the moment. But this much is clear. The sooner I get to Professor Houston's home, the better it'll be.
Master Bennett. Who is it?
It's Betty, Dad.
All right.
Dad, Mandrake will be here tomorrow.
Well, this is good news. I wonder if Mandrake found out about...
About what?
Something connected with the work I've been doing.
Dad, you've become so nervous and mysterious lately. Please tell me what's troubling you.
It's nothing. Nothing at all. Now don't look so serious. You aren't saving all your pretty smiles for Mandrake, are you?
Mandrake? Is Mandrake coming back, Dad?
Yes, Tommy. He'll be here tomorrow afternoon.
Look, Sid, you said you'd buy me a magic outfit if I could surprise Mandrake.
I'll buy it for you tomorrow, Tommy.
Now that that's settled, suppose you two clear out and let me get to work.
Daddy!
Tommy, never do that again. This tank is filled with highly explosive gas.
Sorry. I didn't work, Dad.
That's good night.
Good night, Dad. Good night, Dad. Don't work so hard.
I won't. Good night.
Betty, why do I have to wait till tomorrow to get my magic kit?
Oh, well, I suppose I won't get any rest unless I get it for you tonight. So come on.
Swell.
Wasp!
Yes, Professor Houston, the Wasp. Keep up the good work on your machine and complete it. Complete it for me.
Boys?
I'm good.
It's the Wasp. Lothar!
We've just finished talking with Professor Houston. The moment you will leave Houston alone, you will next meet Mandrake, who is flying his own plane. He will land at Highland Airfield tomorrow afternoon.
Will the Wasp be there?
You wouldn't know it even if he was there.
Would you?
No living man would. Remember that in case you ever get too curious. No living man. See that the boys meet Mr. Mandrake at the airfield.
There's Mandrake now.
Sorry, this is only a single-seater. You and Lothar will have to follow in the regular passenger plane.
Just as well we do.
All right, so long.
Good luck, Mandrake. I'll see you in Houston.
Right off.
Have a nice trip, Master.
Thanks, Lothar.
Watch yourself now.
Planes are all set. Let's do for a little surprise. Mandrake's having a little bit of trouble. That aileron ought to tail loose any minute.
not for long.
Mandrake, are you hurt?
Betty. I'm all right. You have to get to your home right away.
Come on. Where to? We're going to tail his car. He's heading for Houston's home.
Those men won't follow us anymore. Let's get on to your house.
Idiots, I said on the Mandrake assignment failed. Mandrake is now on his way to the Houston home. You still have time to get there before he does. And this time you must not fail.
I can do for you, Mr. Houston? I guess not. It's just a bruise. Got here just in time, Mandrake.
Apparently not. I got away. What's that?
Come on.
Let go of me.
Andre, Webster, what's going on here?
I found this man prowling around the side of the house.
I got no answer at the front door, so I came around here.
Well, now that you were met, allow me to introduce you. Andre, this is James Webster, the famous electrical engineer. My old friend, Dr. Andre Bennett.
How do you do?
How do you do? You must admit you did look suspicious.
Maybe I did. Just what were you doing on this side of the house?
I saw you as I drove up, and I came over to investigate.
All very natural. I met Webster in the Orient and called back here to supervise a big construction project. Come on in, gentlemen.
Professor Houston, what's happened to you?
I had some visitors, uninvited visitors. And if it hadn't been for Mandrake's arrival...
Oh, pardon me. I'd like to have you meet a friend of mine, Mr. Webster. Betty Houston and Professor Houston.
Miss Houston, Professor. Sorry about your injury. An attack, you say?
Yes. 2 men. Undoubtedly sent here by the Wasp. He was here himself, earlier.
The Wasp here?
Yes. His image appeared at 3 different places on the walls and windows.
3 different places?
That's an old magical trick. The Wasp is undoubtedly a living reality, a real person. The images are only projections from a searchlight with the image painted on the lens.
The Wasp, eh? Seems to be a very daring person.
Shouldn't be surprised at these happenings. You remember I told you we were confronting a well-organized ring, dangerous and determined to get control of Professor Houston's radium energy machine.
That's true. And anything I tell you about my machine is all very confidential and must be kept that way. I started out to produce radium energy and succeeded beyond my wildest hopes.
Then the machine is a success.
Yes, so much so that I'm worried.
But I don't understand. You're afraid of your own invention.
Yes. You see, in creating a machine of such tremendous power, I invented a possible source of deadly evil.
How can that be?
Radium itself, while it can cure, can do great harm if wrongly handled. My machine has many times the force of radium. It can be made to concentrate that force on any point desired, on the same principle as airwaves.
Let me just demonstrate it for you.
Mandrake, if it's true, this is amazing.
Looks very complicated, doesn't it?
If it only can retain that power.
I have to wear these as protection against burns, just as you do in X-ray work.
Oh, yes.
I'll direct its force on that old steel cabinet thing. Now stand back while I turn on the power. Now what?
Perfect destruction.
Machine has only stepped up to a small part of its power. The sad part of it is, it could paralyze all communications, like buildings, cities.
In spite of the attacks that have been made on both of us because of this machine, you must carry on with it, because it's so necessary to humanity.
By all means, Professor, carry on with it. The world needs this machine. Would you demonstrate it tomorrow night for the doctors of my clinic?
As a fellow scientist, I couldn't possibly refuse such a favor.
Thank you, Professor.
I don't trust this man, Webster.
Yes, I'm counting on him to help us with the platinite formula. He's a wizard with metals.
He had me a bit worried. After all, I didn't want to divulge the secrets of the machine too openly.
Well, you don't have to worry about Webster. I'm sure he's reliable.
This machine is being demonstrated tonight before a group of doctors in Houston's laboratory. Be there and get the radium energy machine. Before you go, phone Mandrake. Pretend that you're Houston and ask Mandrake to bring some of the platinite with him. When he does, make sure that you get the machine and the platinite. You have failed me twice. This time you must not fail.
You all know what this means. We'll be using 2 cars. Ward, you drive one. Kent, you handle my car. You gotta stop and make a phone call to Mr. Mandrake.
Yes? No. This is Lothar. What? Very well, Professor. I'll tell him. It was Professor Houston. He said to bring the platinite with you.
That's funny. Houston knows I haven't any platinite.
Why'd he ask you to bring it?
He didn't. The call came from someone else. Someone who knows about platinite and thinks I have it.
What do they want with it?
I don't know. It is essential to Houston's machine. I have it. Someone is figuring on getting that machine, undoubtedly tonight. I have to get to Houston at once. You and Lothar follow as soon as you can.
Do you think your father will mind if I look in on him for a minute?
I'm sure he won't.
Good. Almost ready, Professor?
Just about.
I'll notify my colleagues.
Everything all right, Professor?
Yes. Did you bring the platen knife?
Yes.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, Webster, come on in.
Mandrake, escaping a trap of the Wasp, is caught in the path of a rushing freight train. The Wasp orders his henchmen to destroy Mandrake. Mandrake and Betty are overpowered by henchmen of the Wasp in a fight for their lives. Will they escape?